emergency that she had to attend to, but she's en route. So, and we do have a quorum. Yeah. Okay. So, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. All right. So, let me begin by asking for a motion to accept the regular meeting minutes from the June 27th Board of Trustees meeting. Oh, Mark, I think you're muted. Okay, thank you. Mark? Oh, record? No.
Recording in progress.
Okay.
And you don't have, because Rebecca hasn't. Oh, yeah, she's seen the minutes. Okay, sorry.
Oh,
So
I
Mark,
make a motion to approve the meeting.
okay. Second? Are you able to second, Rebecca? You did not attend the meeting due to yeah, you're muted. You're muted. So, we will hold that until Cindy comes, so that we will have a quorum to approve. At this point, I'll open it up for brief public comments, if any. Who are you?
Robert Hopkins, and did you ever get the part you needed for that pump station?
That will be part of our water treatment report.
Yeah, for my son Myron takes care of two places out in Indiana. One of them got 86 lift stations, and the other one got 26.
All right.
And he's been getting parts out there with no problem. So if he has a problem,
Thank you.
I can give Bobby's number.
Thank you. Oh, 1 second. Yes, Trustee Rumsey. Okay, we'll be here. Thank you. Bye. Okay. She's caught in traffic. Okay, so let us go to the wastewater report. Ed? And you're muted. Ed, you're on mute.
I got you. Sorry.
I hang on your every word.
I'll start with the water report.
Okay.
We've already discussed this, but pump number 1 is down at this time. It appears to be a bad contactor or the magnet within it. I could fix it, but I'm not going to because it's kind of dangerous and not my expertise.
Wise choice.
Because of the old antiquated system, we have set money aside to upgrade that last well. So I have the parts on order and I'm just waiting. Everything's takes a little longer these days. We cleaned up some dig spots and seeded this week, or today, should I say. It was found that leak that was on Route 8 that I thought was a homeowner's or service actually ended up being a split in a 6-inch water main, about 4 inches long. Due to the fact that it was a Friday, we decided we were going to throw a wrap on it temporarily to stop the leak, but it does have to be dug back up in the fall and fixed correctly.
So if you would
Hold on.
be, yeah.
Okay, sorry about that.
No,
What were you
that's
gonna say?
fine. Just make sure it's on our calendar, that it gets
Oh,
scheduled
yeah.
for
Well-
the freeze. Great.
Yeah, it'll be like a week that we get it done within that week.
Perfect.
Camp of the Woods has been read. As for the grant that we had in for the water, for the generator, we won't hear anything for that till January. So at this time, we're going to continue running that manually if we need to during a power outage, possibly tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. And then the FEMA water crossing, which is supposed to be bid out with the sewer project. I have been told we're looking at August to get the bid out at some point.
Beginning of August?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd have to look. So that's pretty much it for water. I might have missed something, but we're busy. So, and then for the wastewater department, the outside plant is online, but it will be taken offline very soon. When we were putting it online, we found that there was a leak between the aeration tank and the effluent tank. Unfortunately, with the flows we had to put it online, and then with hydrostatic pressures, it really shouldn't be an issue. It's only when one's drained or the other one's drained that it's leaking, really. So I will be having somebody come take a look at that and see what can be done to fix that. You know, I said this was going to happen. We chose not to paint the tank due to the cost of the paint, and it's cheaper in the long run just to patch the holes as they pop up. If we ever get money in the future, then yeah, we'll paint it. But honestly, I think by then it'll probably need all new steel and need to be rehabbed. Yeah, go ahead.
Ed, I believe that the last time we spoke, there was also an issue with the filters for rags. The rag catcher or the rag.
Oh yes, that installation for the rag monster.
Yes.
He is coming tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. to look over everything again.
Okay.
Check the settings, make sure things are running correctly, and then it's got a squeak when it rotates right now. It was dripping oil, and the rags aren't actually going up. Well, they are, some, but some are getting stuck in the bristles of the auger, and then they don't want to go anywhere, and then they back up. And so we did have an overflow up in the tank because one of the transducers failed a couple times. Hopefully we can put an end to that here tomorrow.
Right.
The I&I study that we are doing is hoping to begin in beginning of August. He's going on vacation at the end of July, and he's hoping to get us in the first week of August or so. He's pretty busy doing his best to get us in. I called him on Friday just to check in with him.
Right.
The field has been mowed, and we will be putting lime on it this week. I could not have got this done if it wasn't for the town and Randy lending us a guy and their tractor to finish mowing the field because our tractor broke. It went into it needed a regen, and then I tried to regen it, and it didn't regen. So I tried again, and now it's just in limp mode. So I've already sent that down to H&M to be repaired, and they're just going to do a full service on it.
Well, thank you to the town for helping us.
I also have to thank Matt O'Brien up at Oak Mountain. He's let us borrow his John Deere tractor,
Okay.
which
Thank
we'll
you.
be using soon.
Right.
And the spreader for the line, which we've always borrowed. But, the upgrade project is near completion. It looks like Aqualogics is supposed to be scheduled to come up this week to start hooking up all the SCADA. We'll see how that all works out. The automated air valves, all the stuff, so I'll be able to see everything from home once it's all set up. I may be having him add in the ability for me to actually turn things on and off from home. Only me, but we will see. The generator that we are we've decided to purchase with the remaining funds for the project. It looks like 6 to 8 months before we can even get an install or before it can even get here. And the last number I heard was the generator and transfer switch was around $86,000. After some more discussion, it seems that our generator at the wastewater plant is way oversized. Basically, they had sized that generator based on an 800 amp service. We only use 400 amps of that service, so there's a good chance we can actually save a little money and get a smaller generator, which is more than sufficient to power everything that we have now. Brendan has to come up, and we have to go through all the equipment and make sure we're still meeting our amperage draws and stuff.
Terrific.
And then, obviously, I'd said the FEMA project and the bid package, hopefully here for August. And then, on another note, the Wastewater Surveillance Network, COVID's been going around a little bit. I have the link here in this sheet. If you go to that, it'll bring you all the data for all of New York State, including Speculator.
Okay.
And basically, this week's samples definitely showed quite a jump in a rise in COVID. I expected that. I mean, our population quadrupled in the last few weeks. So it's just something to keep an eye out for. It's going to happen. I don't think COVID's ever going away. So
Ed, is that number, is that website a public website, web address?
yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
And we'll
It's
provide
a
it.
really weird. Yeah, it's a really weird. Whatever you want to call it, but
Address?
yeah, weird address.
Okay.
mbcoley.shiny at yeah.
Yeah. But we'll provide it in the minutes. That'll be available on the website. That's great.
Okay. And then it shows the charts and all that stuff for all that data.
Terrific.
And then, do we want to? I don't know. I guess that's it for me. I
Okay,
think you need
so
me for
one
a
more,
little bit.
so two more points for wastewater treatment that I'll speak to. One is that we have sent the information that we have regarding the Edgemont Road water line. Ed has provided me additional information so as we can determine who owns the road and who pays for that. So Ed has provided me a list of manpower and time, and we'll go according to that. So thank you very much for that, Ed. I appreciate that. The next thing is EFC. So if you'll recall, or if some of you will remember and others it may be new, when we put in for EFC, the original project was $2.1 million. We opted to do a $1.5 million, and we adjusted our fees accordingly, that we would be able to meet the increase in the annual payments. So it's come back to us, and I'm going to share my little worksheet, so don't be afraid when you see it. Would you please enable sharing? No. I need to share. Okay. Good. All right. So let me share a little worksheet that I put together. Might be scary for some, but okay, we'll try it. Let me make that a little bit bigger. So let's look at this section. Whoops. Okay. So this is looking at the project. So 1.5 million is what we have right now. If we add an additional 800,000, we can do up to $800,000. It would be a $2.3 million project. The EFC project cost is still the same. The WIA grant would actually increase because we have access to that money up to $1,800. So that offsets the extra funds. So accordingly, the EFC loan would increase by 200,000. So the grant would increase by 800, our loan would increase by 200, which isn't a bad deal. And then when you look at the closing costs, overall, it would be 13,800 currently, almost $25,000 for the larger project of 2.3. So the annual loan payments, the difference is about 30,000. So per year.
For how many years?
For 30 years. So what does that mean for us? So the first thing is, well, how long before we would have to increase rates?
Right.
So we have a 30-year spreadsheet. We assume that there is a 5.9% inflation rate over time. With that said, we would not need to adjust any of our rates until the year 2029, 2030. So that's for what we have right now. Should we decide to increase that amount, and by the max. So I'm being, very conservative. If we increase that by the max, we would still be in good shape with our current rates until the year 2026, 27. So we're in reasonable shape either way.
Yeah.
So
Can
with that- yes,
Can I just give some context, because
yes, please.
we went into this and I don't think anybody really knows why we're going into this. A question came about from Brendan this week. As you all know, we are working on an I&I study at this time.
Yes.
And the reason we're doing this I&I study is so that in the future, at some point, we are going to make some repairs in our sewer mains that need to be fixed to reduce that I&I. Brendan had came to me and asked about this loan in this project that we already have open. And with that being open, we can leave it open for another year, and then based on the I&I study, we can determine we'll have monies already available instead of having to go through the process of another engineering report.
And applying for another grant.
Applying for a grant that we may or may not get,
Right.
because we already have a grant. So those factors came into play, and Brendan had asked if we thought we should keep this open for another year, review the I&I, and then use that money that's already available to us, because we already have the grant, to do I&I work.
Correct.
So I'll leave it at that, just to try to keep it simple, and then, yeah.
Yes. So thank you for that. Thank you for that background, Ed. So I just want to let you know where we stand, right? So in speaking with Brendan and in consultation with Ed, Brendan thinks that the system, the I&I upgrades and improvements that we would need would run about 300 to 400,000. So half of what, the potential 800.
Right.
In addition to that, if you remember from our last meeting, we have wastewater treatment unreserved funds of nearly 400,000. So that's $391,737 from our last meeting that we discussed this. So we have earmarked $100,000 for the FEMA pump station, $30,000 for the I&I engineering report, and $10,000 for project disinfection that will be required. So that leaves us with a balance of $251,737. So once all of this gets figured out, who's on first, what's on second, how much things will cost, we will be able to make a substantive down payment against whatever loan we do have. So that would reduce the rates back.
Okay.
So just to let you know where we are financially. Yes.
Well, and also just another note, we have that 30,000 for a I&I engineering report, which would not be necessary, not necessary
Yes, got it.
completely,
Perfect.
in order to apply for another grant, because we're already in that stage.
Right.
So
So,
we may
yes.
actually see money there as well.
Yeah. So you're absolutely right, Ed. So the study, the I&I study itself for cameraing, that's covered by our ARPA funds, right? So that's all paid for. And then the additional $30,000 we had earmarked to write another report that we could get a grant. So in this case, it would be a lot less than $30,000 to upgrade to determine what our priorities are for slip lining and fixing the system. So at this point, I would like to make a motion that we give EFC an indication that we would like to leave the loan amount open not to exceed 500,000 in additional funds. We can go up to 800,000, but I personally would propose 500,000.
And this isn't, saying yes tonight doesn't mean we are taking the money. It's just making it available for
Available.
us,
Maybe you can make that motion.
so
No.
we can make a
So
decision.
I am looking for a motion.
Okay.
Okay, so Cindy Rumsey moves that we signal to EFC that we would like to keep additional funds open up to $500,000. May I have a second? Rebecca? Any comments or questions at this time? No? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say no. Motion carries. Are there any other comments or questions for Mr. Sharpo?
Yeah, Ed, I just had a comment on, I think you stated that some of the equipment couldn't be tested until next year that they're installing. When does the warranty period start? After testing or after
Yeah, so I'm guessing it's after install, more than likely. I'm not saying it can't be tested. It can be tested. The problem is, like, I'll take the outside tank offline. Well, we have 2 DO meters and 2 air valves that are going to be controlled by a panel based on those DO meters. Now, if I only have 1 tank down, I really don't know how it's going to work with both yet until I'm in the summer season and I got both tanks online. And he is starting it this week, so I can probably push off taking that down a little longer to see if I can get that test out of it. The person installing this, they've worked with us for a very long time. It's Aqualogics. We actually have, Brendan and I have actually discussed making them our primary for any type of that kind of work. We would just have to write a resolution that says that's who we use no matter what, but that's besides the point. Even if something didn't work a year down the road, I'm completely confident that they would work with us and make sure it did work. They're here all the time for us whenever we need them. They've helped us with the well. They've helped us with a lot of things. So
Okay,
I'm not too concerned about that. Yeah.
Okay, anything else? Ed, thank you and have a good evening. We'll keep you busy.
All right. Have a good night.
Thanks. Okay, clerk treasurer's report. You may, Tracy, want to put on your volume there to speak or speak loud enough that it can be picked up here?
I speak loud. Can you guys all hear me?
Can you hear Crystal?
Tracy?
Whoever you are?
Yeah, I can hear her.
Okay, all right, go ahead, speak loud.
Alright.
Fake Crystal, yes. Backup Crystal.
Quarterly reports for the IRS, state, and workers' comp have been submitted. She is working on the AAD to be submitted by the end of the month. Next week is the clerk seminars. Crystal will be unavailable in the mornings, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Next Friday, July 22nd at 11 a.m. is the rescheduled employee training for sexual harassment and workplace violence. She is going to narrow down the time for the sexual harassment and workplace violence for the trustees to attend if they would like to. Well, I guess they need to.
What day is that?
You need to. That's right, the 22nd.
Okay, is that,
Financial report number 1 is ready.
great.
Abstract number 3 needs approval, and then the minutes that we did approve at the beginning.
Yes, so let's go back to the minutes. Motion to accept the regular meeting minutes from June 27th, 2022.
I'll move.
Mark, second? Second. Any comments, questions, or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. All right, I would like a motion to approve abstract number 3. May I have a motion? Cindy, second. Mark, any comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor of approving abstract number 3, say aye. Aye. All opposed say no. Motion carries. There is a resolution for the 2022-23, let me just call that up. Final. Okay. Why isn't this up? Come on. Are you able to see that? Make that a little bit bigger. Okay. Yeah, you should have a copy of it, yes. Okay. So this resolution is to have budget adjustments for redistribution of the lifeguard budget. This was introduced by Crystal O'Brien. So basically what this says that since we were unable to have lifeguards, we have a total budget allocation of $11,552. A portion of that, $10,752, is budgeted through Youth Activities Personnel Services, and the balance of $800 is through Youth Activities Contractual. So at our last meeting, if you will recall, we approved a $3.50 per hour increase in salary for the clerk treasurer and a 1 hour increase for deputy clerk treasurer. $1 per hour, requiring a total increase of the budget line for clerk treasurer personnel services of $8,320. In addition, the bathhouse and pavilion bathrooms require maintenance and updates. These improvements would not exceed the remainder of the lifeguard budget in the amount of $3,232. So this would require a total increase. I guess we need to take out that I. Okay, that's where the I go. A total increase of $3,232 in the Parks and Playgrounds contractual budget. Therefore, this resolution would resolve that the following administrative changes will be made. As I said, move $8,320 from Youth Activities Personnel to Clerk Treasurer Personnel Services, and move the balance of $2,432 from Youth Activities Personnel Services and the $800 from the Activities Contractual, for a total of $3,232 to code A7140.4 Parks and Playgrounds Contractual. So may I have a motion? Cindy?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, second?
Mark.
Mark, are there any comments or questions? Okay, hearing none. All in favor of this resolution to adjust the redistribution of lifeguard budget, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say no. Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, updates. Nothing to update regarding COVID. We will pass out or make available the website that Ed is doing on that COVID study. FEMA Halloween, FEMA COVID update. We have completed the listing and we'll be submitting that to FEMA for reimbursement. Macomas Fire Tower, the tower is up. It is not yet complete. There's more fencing to be done this week. I will note that Tom Halleck from PBS Mountain Lakes Journal came down this past week, or last week, did a series of interviews, and he will be running the segment this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday morning, and that is broadcast to the greater Plattsburgh area, Burlington, Vermont area, and the Montreal area. So it'll get a lot of coverage for the fire tower. And then this week, a writer from Adirondack Experience will be coming and gathering some interviews and information to publish an article on the tower as well. So we hope to bring in more folks for that. We are still engaged in, the fundraising committee is still engaged in fundraising, and we still need to raise approximately $15,000. We thought we were close, but but then we refigured all the bills that are coming in, and we're still short a little bit. Septic systems, I have not heard back. ARPA funds, just a quick note, we are receiving our second payment from the federal government as announced by Governor Hochul. In addition, we are receiving a little bit more, $62.35 for ARPA funds. Yeah, so the total is $30,728.92, and that will cover the cost of our I&I study and any ancillary things that may arise. We are any questions, comments on that? Okay. E-bike regulations, we will hold off until Trustee Smith can speak. So we await that with great anticipation. DPW staffing, the candidate that we reached out to on a temporary basis would rather wait until there's a full-time position available and not leave his present job, which is understood. So we will be continuing with the crew that we have. And then we would like to set a date for public workshop for consolidating the planning and ZBA boards. I had proposed to Trustee Smith and Rumsey that we do it at the last planning board meeting. That will not work due to a memorial service in this family.
Right.
So perhaps if we can do it Wednesday afternoon,
This Wednesday?
the last Wednesday in July. Just to get that on the book so that we can, we have to make a public notice.
The 27th.
That would be the 27th.
What time?
We can do it at 4 o'clock, so members of the public can come.
Okay.
Okay? All right. So if we can add that and make that announcement public, do that public announcement. Okay, great. That ends that. Recap of 4th of July, as you know, it was a huge success. They estimate approximately 5,000 people were in attendance. It was huge. So that was between the parade, the carnival, as well as the fireworks. There was an issue, however, with the restrooms, and it was unanticipated, but now we know a little bit better. And part of that was because not only the great volume of people, but the restroom at the beach was closed, as well as the restroom in the pavilion was closed due to repairs. So we were short two and had an overabundance of people. So I would like to propose a slight modification to our, let me do this, to our parks and use application that I had provided. So the first is on the first page where it says the approximate number of people expected to attend the event. I have a footnote that basically says, for events in excess of 500 people, accommodations must be made for additional toilet facilities. So that would be at the cost of whoever is sponsoring it, whether it be the chamber or anyone else. And
You should put a number in there.
what do you mean? Oh,
A number. Yeah.
Okay. So we'll leave this as a proposal, and Mark, you and I can check on it. I was looking at Porta Potty, and they do have a vested interest. They were saying 2 porta potties per 100 people for a 4-hour event or longer. So we may not need that depending on, whether it's over the course of time, if it's an in and out. So if it's an event where you start at 5 and you end at 9 or 10 and people stay there, then I would think that you would require more toilets than if it were an event, let's say like the Twigs Fair, where you have 2,000 people over the entire day who are coming and going and don't stay for the whole duration. So in that case, thank you, Mr. Rumsey. In that case, they ordered 2. So we can say for events in excess of 500 people, accommodations must be made for additional toilet facilities in consultation with the board or in consultation with wastewater. In consultation with the...
Yeah, I don't think anyone expected that many people here, no matter who they were.
Correct. And then, so that would be the caveat, and that way we can play it by ear. And then the other, I updated this according to what we had discussed the last time regarding fire. So campfires, no campfires allowed. And then to put in a footnote, the village board will only consider special requests on a case-by-case basis for local organizations. All right? So any So what I would like, if you need more time to review it in its entirety, we can put off a vote until 2 weeks, or if you feel comfortable, I'd like a motion to accept the changes to the park use application as mentioned here.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, second, any comments or questions? No? Okay, hearing none, all in favor of updating the park use application changes to include campfires and toilets, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed say no. Motion carries. Thank you for that. And it was a great event. So board roundtable, Deerfoot, the boys camp north of us on Route 8, I would like to give a huge shout out and thank you to them. I was contacted by Chief Craig a while back saying that they would like to send down 5 young men who are counselors in their program, summer counselors, to come and do a service project for the village. I gladly accepted, and the timing could not have been better because that week we had been working with the fire tower, and kudos, huge kudos to DPW and wastewater treatment crews for really jumping in and going above and beyond and out of their comfort zone to make that happen. It was a huge endeavor, and thank you to CNR Excavation as well for jumping in and really helping us out there. So the bottom line is Deerfoot, young men came down, 11 of them came, not just 5. They put new wood chips in the playground, additional sand. We did the bocce ball courts and the, I never even knew we had it, horseshoe area. They raked the baseball diamond so that we could put bases out there. They raked the beach area, both the water and the beach itself. They weed whacked the beach area. They mowed and weed whacked most of the for us. They really did an incredible job, and the most pleasant, helpful, quote unquote, no problem guys. You know, anything was no problem, whatever you need. So it was great. So I have written a letter to Chief Craig thanking them immensely, and they are welcome down here anytime, in my opinion. Any other board roundtable? Yes? Oh, I'm sorry, totally forgot that. So if you were here, the fireworks I thought were very good. So thank you again to Majestic. We did ask for a renewal of that contract because we actually thought that it was our last year, and it's not. We have one more year, and this is the contract. So we have been paying $6,000 a year for our fireworks, and they are willing to extend the contract from July 2024 to 2028 in the amount of $6,000 to continue that. Yeah, it is really great. We may at some point think about throwing a few extra dollars at that as inflation continues to rise to ensure that there's really a good program. So this is within the contract. They would still be shooting off from the beach, which seems to have worked really well. They're able to do a wider variety of shots off the port bow. So may I have a motion to? I'm going to do that. Okay.
Your motion
Oh,
for this.
yeah. So,
Sorry.
yeah, nope. So motion for the to accept the fireworks contract to extend it for another 5 years, starting next year. Jim Rumsey and Rebecca, sorry, I didn't see your hand. So Rebecca seconds. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor of signing the contract, allowing me to sign the contract, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Great. And nope, no worries. And then for the abstract, I think we have enough now present. So may I have a motion to approve abstract number 3? Cindy, second.
Mark.
Mark, any comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All opposed say no. Motion carries. And the last board roundtable comment is our violation will go before the Wells judge tomorrow. So we'll shoot for the best. All right, any other roundtable? Hearing none. Mark, would you like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All right, thank you very much. And Rebecca feels better. All right. See you. Bye.